Hello, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. And welcome to this amazing masterclass, the Embodied Identity Fully Paid Masterclass. So, I'm Yvonne Purvis, and I will help you through this process of understanding identity. We start with self-concept to identity, and then to embody it to become the woman that has fully paid clients coming, paying in full, sales on auto repeat, and really just enjoying your life and doing what you absolutely love. Because you are here because you are either a coach, a mentor, a service provider, a business owner. It doesn't matter what you do, but you're ready for more. You're ready to really understand how to change your identity, because the identity is the frequency that brings people to you. Okay. And I'm excited to be here with you. And I'm just going to share a little bit about myself so that you understand a little bit about me, because I don't know you and you don't know me yet. So over my years, I've really, I guess in the beginning of my life, my brother always said, Yvonne, you were just living it. And when we talk about living it, I'm talking about manifesting, okay? Because our mind creates everything, but it's also the identity and how we embody it. And the more that we embody it and we have a good feeling about it, everything happens super fast, okay? So I was a dancer singer when I first started, in working the industry, my first job. And then from there, I had an event planning business, and everything really happened so easily and like effortlessly. Even though I was having multiple businesses, okay, I had other things going on as my first job, but my brother actually always said, Yvonne, you were just living it. I was living in this intuitive intuition, going with the next step. Even if I felt fear, even if I felt whatever, I just kept doing it. I kept going, yes, that's what I desire. Yes. Never thought of it like that, but I was moving in it. Okay. I was being it. And then, over the years, yes, I got married, I moved countries. My marriage was like really not so good. It was rocky. But what happened in that marriage was I lost myself. I became someone else, someone I didn't recognize. And when we actually separated, I felt like I'd hit rock bottom. And I really did. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have self-confidence. I didn't have a business anymore. Everything I did was for him and his kids and his life. And I forgot me, somehow, somewhere along that, I lost who I was. I lost that power in myself. And over those next 5 years, I had to learn how to shift. And I started shifting really fast with identity, and then embodying, and then identity, and then embodying, and kept growing and growing and growing until here I am. So I understand how to change the the identity, and also how I can help you understand how to embody it. Okay. Because if you haven't been through it, you actually can't really teach it because you haven't been through it. And I wanted to share my experiences because it is everything I've done to be able to be here. At the age of 28, I built my first $1 million business without going for, I was wanting to make $1 million in my business. You have to have the goals. But I remember my accountant saying, Yvonne, you have such a great business here. And I was like, yeah, thank you. And I didn't really feel it changed me in any way. I was a very driven woman and still am, but it was like, but I'd never really passed that. I got a little bit past $1 million every year, but I really didn't go supersede it. Okay. And that's probably where I was in the identity, right? Now I see it. But those millions of dollars gave me a multi-million dollar lifestyle, right? Over many years. So, and then I lost it. So then I went from having this amazing business, money coming in constantly, large sums of money, to eventually losing that business, living in Australia and not knowing where I was going to go. And I won't go into some of the stuff that happened, but I never really got back into my own business until we got separated. And that's how I lost, who I was. And since that point, I've had and I'm only sharing this to understand that when we want more and we're calling in more and want more money, sometimes it comes into us not from your work as well. And this is what I really want you to understand, that when we are open to receiving money, okay, sales and all the rest, because we're here for business, we're here to learn, but I want you to be open and having a limitless abundance, because I had millions of dollars come to me from other ways that I didn't realize. Okay. And I created the Millionaire Identity, which is my Facebook group, which if you're not in there, please make sure you come in, because it is an essential part of understanding how millionaires work, first of all, how their identity shifts, but the work in the identity as well as the embodiment. Okay. And there's also, understanding how money flow works. And that's another thing. But the identity to embody it is so important. Okay. So where are we going to start? We're going to go back and think about, I want you to, okay, here, this is going to be me sharing a little bit about my personal journey, and also then giving you things to go and do, because this isn't just about listening, right? This is about doing. You have to change. You have to make an effort. You have to be honest. You have to look at yourself and you have to say, okay, who am I? So when I think about, we'll talk about how I went from being a dancer. Okay. So that was really my first kind of career. I was a dancer working everywhere, but we didn't make a lot of money, right? So money was, I don't even know, like whatever. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what I was making, but it was certainly not a lot of money, but I always had enough, right? I always had enough to be able to go do this, go do that, whatever, job to job, right? I had in between jobs in between that. But the biggest identity was when I went from being a dancer to then opening and operating a corporate events business to corporations. Right. So I bought my first laptop. It wasn't a laptop, it was a computer, the big box, had to learn how to use it. Like, it was all fearful, but I just jumped in because I wasn't able to dance anymore from some car accidents. So I was like, what else can I do that I could still be part of that dancing world? Right. So doing corporate events, I brought in all the entertainment and all the in-betweens. So I'm sharing this because I want you to understand. I'm encouraging to really look at where you are right now. So I want you to think about, where are you right now? Who are you right now? So your self-concept is where you are right now. So make a list. Who are you? So how do you wake up? Do you wake up tired? Do you wake up excited? Do you wake up and go work out? Do you wake up and have a coffee right away? Do you wake up not feeling good? Do you wake up wishing you didn't have to go to work? This is your self-concept, and you've got to get clear on who you are right now in order to make the changes that you want to have. Maybe you have children, so you're getting them off to school, and then you rush around, and then you're going to your job. You might have a job and then have a side hustle, and the side hustle is what you're wanting to grow. So everyone is different, right? Doesn't matter though, because I've had so many different identities and I'm 57, along my life. So I can express that all these different areas of my life have been a big part of where I am today. There is no coincidences in life. Things are happening for you because of what you think about, what you are desiring or not desiring. You're manifesting either things you desire or manifesting things you don't want. So if you're here, right, you're here and you're in this to learn how to bring in the sales, how to have that magnetic energy, how to embody them, how to have a flow, an overflow of clients coming to you, right? A business that's easy, that's effortless. This is what we're desiring. I was speaking to someone the other day, and he was saying that, majority of the coaches out there, they're not even making more than $30,000 a year, because we're getting caught up. We're getting caught up that we need to do more, need to post more, need to do this funnel, do this, do that. Now, I've been caught up in it multiple times as well. And then you get burnt out. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And you go down that, thinking, what else can I do? Like, I've never had a job. I've always worked for myself. I don't even think I'm employable. Maybe I am. Of course I would be. I have so many skills. But there would be, no, there is no but. I don't even want to go there, right? You got to keep your mind in a limitless position. So when you are, I've kind of lost track. So knowing that you got to know where you are to start. And so when you know that I've had multiple, doesn't matter. I was the dancer, right? Then I went to having my own business with employees, 8 or 9, I think, employees I got up to at one stage. And then I went into online through COVID, like many, not knowing how to do that and navigate that, and then changed in my niche. Even went from one business and changed it just not even a year ago. Okay? Because we have to love what we're doing. If you're not enjoying what you're doing and the sales aren't showing up, that would be why you're manifesting what you don't want, or you're in fear of not having the money and the sales coming in. So I really want us to start thinking about your thoughts and your mindset. It is a lot to do with your business and being successful. So identity, okay, starts from the self-concept. So who are you and how do you show up? Do you love yourself? Do you really love yourself? Are you hard on yourself? Are you worrying about life? Do you give more to others and not look after yourself? All right. So the homework is really writing down who you are. Write down everything about yourself. How you wake up. How do you feel? What do you do in your business? How are you getting your clients? What are you using? What is your platform? Like, get serious in this part. What don't you like about your life? What don't you like about your business? Our energy is going to a lot of these entities. So we need to know that we're in love with everything we're doing. Now, there are points to things when we have a new business, we're probably wearing a lot of hats, right? That's starting your own business. I remember my events planning business. I started in a little not even a 1-bedroom, it was a studio house, right? Like, I got my first client I was working in that little studio, and I was at the time, because I wasn't able, I don't even think I was dancing anymore. I had to give it up because of car accidents. I was working in hospitality, right? In corporate suites and waitressing. And, I was making very good money, though, I must say. And, it was one transaction from talking to some clients in the box, getting cards. He asked me if I could get him, corporate seats. I said, yes. I had no idea how. I talked to one person over here. She says, oh, my uncle sells tickets. And all of a sudden I'm buying a whole suite of hockey tickets and on selling it to a client. Just like that. So easy and effortless. And our life is supposed to be easy and effortless. But here's what happens. Life. Also, Facebook's around. Wasn't back then for me. So now we're looking on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, and we're comparing ourselves, and we're thinking people are doing better than we are, than you are. We start judging ourselves. We start, you feel not good enough. You feel unworthy when you're not making sales. You feel unworthy or being shy to show up. You think you need to be a certain way, a perfection, get everything done perfectly. And I want you to know that you just need to show up as you. But we want to shift into a new identity. The woman who is selling, who's loving her life, is the coach or mentor or business owner that is driving everyone to come to your office, to your shop, because we're the shop, right? you have your own business, a soulpreneur, like we are our brand, right? We are selling us. Even when you have your own business, like even when I had my corporate event company, it doesn't matter that I had employees. I was selling me to the clients. I was the one going and putting the proposals together. I was selling me, my ideas, but they came from me. Okay. Still the same. Doesn't matter where you are in your industry or what you do. Even aerobic, even if you have a yoga studio, you're selling you. You're the yoga studio. You have a brand and a name, but it's still you. So you've got to be really comfortable with putting yourself out there and making money for your service. And you can call it selling, or you can call it just being you. But you got to love it. You got to love getting your face out there and having sales and marketing to people, and not think that you're doing too much and you feel yucky. Like if you don't feel good about sales, this is an identity shift. So where do you need to shift? Is it the belief in yourself? Is it your sales? Is it your feeling good enough? Don't think you have enough degrees? Like, what is it that is holding you back from connecting and making the sales and showing up as we need to show up? So think about your identity. Think about the self-concept of who you are right now. You know, the things you're saying to yourself, the beliefs about yourself. Because if you, let's just going to throw some numbers out, okay? So you're a coach or a mentor, consultant, doesn't matter. You want to start bringing in a $10,000 a month. We're just going to stay with a nice even number. Now you might be looking at 200,000. That's okay too, okay? Because one thing I'm going to share with you today too. So I'm very much into manifestation, okay? Frequency, abundance, source energy, universe, but I call them God as well. And not in a spiritual way, more in a just the universe. When you look up and you see all those stairs, there is a universe, but I think there's a God. There is a God over there that's supporting us along our journey. And when we stop controlling and we stop allowing and surrendering, he works through you. He works and puts all those people in front of you. That's effortless. As I shared with you, went from, you know, working in a corporate box. Someone says he needs hockey tickets. I said, I can get them, have no idea how, totally relaxed about it. Go and talk to a friend. My friend's uncle can do it. And I'm sold, and I made $10,000 in one day. There's no coincidences. It's understanding that we are the creator, what we think about ourselves, how we show up in this world, how we look at ourselves, and how we feel is the match and the energy of sales attraction marketing. Doesn't mean you're not going to, you know, get yourself out there with speaking engagements and getting onto podcasts, doing your Facebook lives, doing your Instagram, if you're more on Instagram, or your TikTok, maybe Facebook ads. It's all part of it, right? Like, how fast do you want to move? This is the other thing, because sales come in only when you can still sell to a group of 10. If you're saying the right message and you're right there and you're being you, you can sell to 10 people. Doesn't mean you need hundreds. Okay. So I want you to get clear and understand that what is your belief behind all of it to make sales? Because the identity is the first step. Get clear on where you are, self-concept, and now who do you want to be? So what is that identity? So I'll share a little experience so that you can sort of start thinking about yourself. So when I was my dancer, right, started my business, and I had this guy, Michael. He was a friend that I met at a networking thing. Someone introduced me, or I met him, can't remember. And I remember asking him, so I didn't know what to charge. So I was going in and to have big quotes. And it was for a major bank in Canada, Toronto, Canada. Hi guys, I'm from Toronto. I forgot to say that, but I live in Australia. And he said, Yvonne, You are no different. Doesn't matter that you work from home. You're no different to the corporations. You're charging $500 an hour. And that was it. I put on my quote thing that anytime that I was coming in for, because it was a group of people, you know what I mean? Like, when like I was dealing with one person, it was, can't think of the name, but anyway, I charged $500 an hour. Any meeting I was called off to, that was on top of whatever the event was and all those other charges. I did that for everybody. $500 an hour. That was the identity. I took it on immediately. I changed immediately. I believed it and I said yes. So do you believe what your worth is? So what are you charging? Do you feel it? And when we talk about money and pricing, there's no right or wrong. It's what you feel good about. It is our self-worth. That's all it is. But you got to believe it. Got to own it, got to embody it and know it and not chase, right? So if you're doing the old fashioned of chasing money, that's why it's going away. That's why it doesn't come in. There's nothing wrong with having some slow months when you're in the process of shift. When we are really doing this work, right? Like sometimes it's about going inward to say, okay, why is my business not scaling? Why is my clients not buying? Sometimes it's about that looking at yourself. And if this is something that you don't know how to do, I can share a little bit more at the end. You know, obviously this is stuff that I help you with, right? It's part of my coaching. And so going back, your identity, like what is it that you're chasing? Are you chasing? Because identity, okay, like I didn't chase anything. Nope. I started chasing when I started working online, not in my first one, but in a part of my business when I was doing my other niche and I wasn't happy in what I was doing anymore. So my inner belief, my embodiment was like, I don't enjoy this anymore. I don't know if I should be doing this. And then I'm trying to get clients and I started chasing because I wanted the money coming in, right? I was looking, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the clients? And it was me. I wasn't wanting them. But I thought I was in need of money. We don't need money. We're safe without it. So pull back on that feeling. And then what I did is I actually made the jump because it was being called to me. And I went, I'm not doing this anymore. And I changed to what I'm doing now. And I love what I'm doing right now, right? The energy, the vibrance, the frequency, it's all just like magical. It's easy, it's effortless. Sales, clients, all coming in so easily. So write down where you are right now in your business. Be really crystal clear. How much money are you making? If you're making zero, don't be bad. Don't feel bad. Because that energy is a low frequency and that is going to make you feel bad. And that is the lower vibration. So be grateful. It's all good. Okay. I'm giving you permission. Just okay with it. Now we're going to start making money, right? That's why you've here. Start earning, start feeling and start, feeling that vibration. Okay. So write it down, what you would love. And then I want you to think about, okay, so we're going to go back to the money. So sales. So you want to make $10,000 a month. How would that make you feel? What would change? How would you spend it? That is the feeling. That's truly embodying like, oh, wow, how would I feel? Now, maybe you're somebody who's like ready for the 100K months. Because here's the other thing with the universe, money, there is no difference. The universe, God, source energy, making money, there's no different energy from $100 to $1 million, except for you and your frequency that you believe there is a difference. that you feel there's a big gap and you can't have it. But it's also the embodiment and the identity. You can't have it till you match the vibration. You can't make more money until you are being it, until your vibration is there, until your mindset, your body, your identity is all there. Okay. So this is where we go. Everyone's different. This is where you start where it feels really good for you. And I want you to think about, oh, this feels so good. And that is the energy. So think about, how do you wake up in the morning? Are you excited? Do you roll out of bed? Yeah, baby. Are you excited for your day? Or are you like, oh my God, I have to coach. Oh my God, I got to find clients today. That is the shift. Okay. I'm going to sneeze, and I'm not recording this again. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So the energy and the vibration is so important. And I don't cut and recut videos. I think I'm authentic in all areas of my life, and that includes doing this recording. Okay. That is a belief. Okay. My belief is the more authentic I am, the more me I am, the more that you will resonate, because I believe we're all normal, right? We're all doing our best every day. So where is your belief in your life, in your business? And when you start getting really crystal clear with where you are, your self-concept, and then you change it, and now you want to value yourself at the newer vibration. So if that identity, so my identity went from $500 an hour to feeling pretty good about myself, didn't it? That raised my confidence. When I went in the first time, I was like, ooh, and I just did it. And then it became very normal for me. And I remember my other identity. This was about 4 years ago. Pardon me. This was a really good one, because what happened was I started to hire, I was increasing my payments, right? My prices. And this is a really big one when you are increasing your pricing, because you've got to match it. And I remember I was on a call and we were talking, and she was wanting to work with me, and I had changed it, but I wasn't really sure I was going to say it. And I said it. I just went out and said it. And I just sat and I was like, huh, yeah. And she came in to my frequency, into my coaching program, because I knew how I could help change her life. 100%. I have 100% certainty that this work works, and I can help you change your vibration, your frequency, your business, to have sales coming in on repeat, and clients climbing and working with you in different elements and modalities, and they stay in your frequency because you are the one. Okay. So where are you? Start the homework, who you are right now, that self-concept, and then make a shift. So where's the shift in your business? Is it your pricing? Is it the way you're showing up? It might be what you might be starting right from the start of your identity in full eye, meaning that maybe you've got to start putting on more makeup. Maybe you got to start making your hair look better, having nicer clothes. Maybe it's time to get rid of some of the clothes, because clothes carry weight in the sense of energy and showing up differently, right? When we want to show up online, it is about putting on some makeup. It is about looking like you've got your, you're put together. Doesn't mean you have to go overboard, but everyone is different. Remember, like when $1 million coaches, they show up looking like $1 million, right? I wouldn't even say $1 million. I'd say the multi-million dollars. They show up differently. And this is where, as a identity, I want you to start looking different, being different. And what happens when we start changing our identity? Things get a little bit uncomfortable. You know, when we are being someone, and think about it like this, even when you think about food, if it's someone that's wanting to lose weight and you start going to a restaurant and then you start saying, you know what, can I get that sauce on the side? Is it possible for you to get me the vegetables steamed, not soaked in butter? That is a big thing to do. And your friends get uncomfortable. They may call you high maintenance. They may think like, why are you doing that? Because you value your health. And that's an identity. I very much care about my health, right? I was a fitness coach and weight loss. That's what I was doing. But it's also, I'm an embodiment of this, right? Like my body is my temple. I don't give it shitty food. I eat very well. I eat to get energy, to fuel my body, to feel good in the morning, to go for a run, have good skin, because whatever you eat comes out on your body. See what I'm saying with your identity? So that's the first rule, okay? Go and have some fun with it. Like, don't be serious about it. I want you to look in the mirror and tell yourself, yeah, man, who am I? Who are you right now? Can be anyone you want. There's somebody that you think, oh, I'd like to be like her. Let's start looking at, what is she doing? How can you be her with you in there? Not being someone else, got to be you. And then when we do, okay, so from there, as we're starting to make those changes as our identity, and you've written them down, you've got to stay in that energy. You've got to correct yourself when you start falling out of it. You've got to say, oh, it wasn't her today. Got to come back. And then that identity is going to start feeling better. It's going to start feeling like, okay, I'm her. And then the next stage is how we actually be the identity. That's the embodiment. Because we can very easily, and this one I'll share my story when I went from changing my surname again back to my maiden name. I was this other Yvonne. I'm just going to say Yvonne S. for 20 years. I was not this confident woman here. I don't know who that woman was, to be honest, but it was 2 years ago. I was like, I'm done. I am changing my name. I am now Yvonne Purvis. And then I started to remember who I was when I was Yvonne Purvis. I built $1 million business at 28 years of age. I was like, oh my God, Yvonne, right? I started to come back to life. I was like, wow, you've done that. You've done it. So I started to really embody that, like have to, oh yes, I used to act like that. And I started acting like that. So that's when I was getting coaches and I was paying in full. And then my mentor, not long ago, over a year ago, that was a 6-figure investment, because that's who I am, right? Because I am this multi-million-dollar woman. I am her. I'm being her in every way. Not some days, every day. How I show up, how things wobble and pull them back, and showing up as it's done. We can reach for whatever we want when we are limitless. So you might be sitting here and saying, what do you mean $1 million, multi-million dollars? Because I've been around a lot of multi-million dollars. And I reminded myself at 28, I wasn't making a multi-million dollars, but that $1 million over time was giving me a multi-million dollar industry portfolio, right? So you see how this energy around who you are impacts everything, your business, your life, your relationships, the people that you hang out with. And when you start feeling where you want to be, it'll start making others some uncomfortable. And that's where you've got to really hold on to your identity and embodiment and not let someone make you feel small again. It's about holding that vibe, that energy to, yes, that's who I am. Yes, that's who I am. And the more that you keep holding it, it's going to change. It's going to all of a sudden switch. And those sales and the clients and the money, everything just comes rolling in. Like, think about if you had the money, what would you buy? So if you made your first $10,000, what would you buy? If you made your first $25,000 for the month, what would you buy? Got to have goals, got to have something that you're dreaming about. And sometimes that's better to think about what would you buy versus money or sales. It's all up to you what you want to think about. But the work is inner. The work is your self-love, your worthiness, and embodying that woman of that new identity. So if it was for me, it was, so going back to the $500 an hour, I embodied and I was her. I dressed different. I had suits, right? Going to work, very corporate. I was in the corporate industry. I changed everything. Corporate, became different. In my online business, right? Showing up, so more flexible, right? We're online, it's more relaxed. We can wear different things, but I'm always dressed up. My hair is always nice. My makeup's on. And, but I act differently. I move differently, right? I'm a painful woman. I invested in that mentor to help me in that next level, to be around the energy of women that are multimillionaires and moving money around like it's no tomorrow, right? They're moving it all the time. It was like, whoa, and have big businesses. I want it in there. I want it in the room. Because when you're in the room with women that you want more of, that you want to hang around with, that's how we get there faster as well. And this is where friends can fall away when you know what you want. You might not be able to spend as much time with them because your desire to have a really successful business, your desire to be making more money in sales and clients has to be a different version than you are right now. You cannot stay the same. So you've got to know what you want and not be afraid of things falling around you, falling apart. Because that's what identity work, unfortunately, can do. Most times. I call it the crumble. I've been through quite a few of them. And it's all identity. Okay? And know that when it's crumbling, the other side is going to be remarkable. It's just part of the transition. Okay? So when you get off this call, I want you to really think about, who are you? Think about, okay, so if you are a woman that's bringing in $10,000 every month, how much fun would you be having in life? You'd have money paying for your bills. You'd have some money, that you'd buy something for. Your bills would be all paid. You wouldn't even think about it. Maybe you get an upgraded car. Maybe you go and spend. You've got to circulate money, right? This is the other thing. Maybe you're getting your first 25,000. Maybe that's where you're at, 30K a month. How fun would that be? And let's face it, I mean, realistically, 100K a year isn't a lot of money anymore. That's not a luxury life. So if you want a luxury life, you need to be thinking about a multi six-figure business to have the fun, have the joy, have the luxury holidays, right? That's the woohoo. And you can go from down, doesn't matter where you are. You can go and change that identity and be it now. You don't have to step up a ladder, but it is a vibrational match to own it. And that's the embodiment. You can't fake it. You can't. It's got to be fully embraced, but it'll come if you can hold the vibration, if you can hold the energy and the belief in what you would love. So go and do this work. I know you might be thinking, how, Yvonne, it's just so easy. It is. But this guy is the problem. This is the one that'll keep taking you out. The mindset of keeping you back and saying, that's too scary. No, don't do that. And this is where you've got to say, no, let it go. I am her. This is who I am. This is who I am. Because I know you can do it. I believe in you. And I'm not anything special. I just was doing it. And then I'm consciously doing it. And I feel a little bit nervous when I was paying, $100,000 for that coach. I did it first in a couple of installments and then I just paid the balance off. But that was freaking me out. I had to think about it. And then I went, no, this is what you're calling in. This is what you want. This is what you desire. And I just did it anyway. So you can too. I know you will. So here's a couple of things. So if you're not in the Facebook group, make sure to go and join the Millionaire Identity. That identity, I'm in there all the time, giving great trainings about how to stay in the millionaire identity to becoming the millionaire. Okay. Like I said, it's not even $1 million isn't a lot of money these days. Okay. The other thing, if you are interested now in going to the next level, I have a few ways you can work with me. So I've got my 6 months and I've got a 12-month, 2 different programs, some private and some group. But we'll work it out once I know what you're looking for, and we'll make sure you're in the right way. Okay. I'm here for you. You've got this. I believe in you. So be the identity and her and show up like her every day. Maybe it's about changing your lippy color. Maybe it's changing your hairstyle, new earrings. All these little things will help you feel different. Got to feel different. And I remember, just to let you know, it can feel really yucky. It feels like you're pretending. But the more you do it, guess what? It becomes you. You be it. So grateful to have you here. I'll see you real soon.